Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod's IS classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to see current affairs of 1st August 2022. So let's get started with our discussion and let us try to see today's quote. So today's quote is believe in yourself and anything is possible. So especially self-confidence is important. So if you're having self-confidence, nothing can stop you to reach your goal. So first you have to believe in yourself. You need to develop self-confidence. That is, you need to develop confidence on you, and you have to develop confidence on your abilities, and you have to realize where you are doing mistakes, and automatically that will leads to reach you heights, and that will helpful to achieve your aims. Okay, so first try to believe in yourself and then anything will be possible. So now let us try to say first topic. It is regarding route in ED custody in money laundering case. So we are not going to see what is this case everything, but we are focusing on what is this money laundering. So in our UPSC syllabus, so there is one thing which is directly written, that is money laundering. So here this article can be also used as a case study when you are writing your ethics answer. There you can quote example in corruption, right, in values also. So from those point of view, so this article is important. And now let us try to see this topic in detail. So first let us try to see a brief introduction why it is in use. So Enforcement Directorate took into custody, that is Shiv Sena MP, that is MP Sanjay Raut, and actually he is a close confidant of party president, that is Uddhav Thackeray. So in he's having some connection with case of money laundering after conducting searches at his residence in Mumbai. So ED conducted searches in his residence and they found that yes, he had also some link with this money laundering. So actually, so in which case or in which deal they came up with this corruption or money laundering here is, so here MP is being investigated in connection with a money laundering case linked to alleged irregularities in the redevelopment of this Patra Chawl in city. So they came up with this redevelopment project. So in this redevelopment project, so that lead to some money laundering. So now let us try to see where is this Patra Chawl is present, and now let us have a look over that so that you will be having some idea, right? So 1 minute. Yes, you can see the location of this. So this is a building, that is New Patra Chawl. So exact location that you can see now. So this is this New Patra Chawl which is located in Maharashtra. And if I zoom in, so you can see these are the buildings. I hope you can see these buildings clearly on the screen, right? So this is this New Patra Chawl. So now let us move back and let us try to see some facts regarding this money laundering. So how this process of this money laundering which happens? So this process which mainly happens in the 4 ways. Okay, so first 4 steps. The first one here is, first there is a source of income. So income will be generated, for example, through unlawful means, for example tax crimes or any fraud or any drugs, okay, drug related things, or any theft or bribery, corruptions. So they will be generating some income. So that income which they generated, they will be going for placement. So placement means they will deposit this money, okay, into the financial system. For example, they can go for changing of currency, for example Indian currency to dollars, okay, and they can also go for change of denominations, and they will go for translation of cash and even cash deposits. So after that they will go for layering. So in this layering, they will try to conceal the criminal origin of this proceeds. For example, they can go for transfers, they can go for withdrawal in the cash, and they can also go for cash deposits in other banks, etc. And next one is integration. So integration here is they want to make this black money into the white money. So they will create some fictitious loans, or they will show that so and so income I got from this turnover or the sales of companies, okay, like that. So in this way here, these are the 4 steps which involved in this money laundering. So what is a money laundering? So money laundering is nothing but it is a concealing or disguising the identity of illegally obtained proceeds. So they are getting some money through some illegal activities, and they are converting, and they are trying to show them they are not from the illegal but with the legal means, right? So the money which they get mainly through some illegal activities like corruption, like drug trafficking, robbery, extortion, etc. So as per this IMF, International Monetary Funds, so the data says that global money laundering is estimated between 2 to 5% of this world GDP. Okay, so global money laundering is like 2 to 5%, and now you can think about so how much expansion of this money laundering which happened. And if you are talking about what are the steps taken by the government of India, especially regarding this money laundering here is, so first one here is government of India came up with this criminal law amendment and ordinance. Okay, so first and the foremost thing here is, so government of India came up with this criminal law amendment ordinance in 1944. Okay, so in 1944 law, so it came up with some amendments. So these amendments covers some important crimes like corruption, breach of trust, cheating, etc. So these will be all covered under our Indian Penal Code. So this is under Criminal Law Amendment Ordinance. And apart from that, in 1976, Government of India also came up with an important act, that is the Smugglers Foreign Exchange Manipulations Act of 1976. And this act, which especially covers penalty of illegally acquired properties of smugglers and as well as foreign exchange manipulators. Okay, so those will be included in this act, that is the Smugglers and Foreign Exchange Manipulations Act. And next, here Government of India came up with this Narcotics, Drugs and Psychotropic Substance Act of 1985. And this act, which provides for the penalty of property which is derived from or used in illegal traffic of narcotic drugs. So these narcotic and psychotropic drugs, they are for example cocaine, for example codeine, heroin, etc. So whenever there is a drug trafficking, they can generate huge lump sum amount of money, right? So because of this, to curtail that, Government of India came up with this Narcotics and Psychotropic Substance Act of 1985. And next one is government also came up with this PMLA. So there is one more article we are going to discuss about this Prevention of Money Laundering Act. So in our today's Hindu editorial, there is one editorial which appeared regarding this Prevention of Money Laundering Act and recent Supreme Court judgment, right? So actually Government of India also came up with this Prevention of Money Laundering Act of 2002, and this act which forms a core framework, okay, core legal framework, and it is mainly focusing to combat money laundering in the country. Okay, and this provision is applicable to all financial institutions and even for the banks, mutual funds, insurance companies and even some financial intermediaries as well. So this point will be important from your prelims point of view. Okay, and next one is government also came up with this Financial Intelligence Unit. So it is an independent body and it is reporting directly to Economic Intelligence Council, that is EIC, which mainly headed by our Finance Minister. And next one is Government of India also came up with this Enforcement Directorate, that is ED. So you can see this ED here and there in the news. Okay, so here this ED, it is a law enforcement agency and also Economic Intelligence Agency, and this agency, that is ED, Enforcement Directorate, which is responsible for enforcing economic laws and even it focus on fighting economic crime in India. So first one here is it is responsible for enforcing laws and even it is responsible for fighting against crime in India. And apart from that, what are main functions of this ED? So it mainly do some investigations. So it mainly investigate offences regarding money laundering under the provisions of this Prevention of Money Laundering Act of 2002. And apart from that, so if there is anything which goes wrong, means it can even go for confiscation of property. Okay, confiscation of property as well. So these are some important functions of this Enforcement Directorate. And now let us move on to next topic. It is regarding love of Aravalis. So risking all for the love of Aravalis. So there is one campaign which is going on, that is Save Aravalis. So because of this is news, and as an UPSC aspirant you need to know about what is the significance of this Aravalis and where they are located. Okay, so here you can also get some prelims based questions from this Aravalis as well, because it is a very important concept. So now let us try to see this topic, and this topic is important from your GS paper 1 under geography and even under GS paper 3. So there we can study under this environment and ecology. So now let us try to see why it is in use. So the citizen groups, they running a campaign. The name of the campaign is Save the Aravalis. Okay, because there is some illegal mining seen in this Aravalis, especially in 16 locations in South Haryana mountain range. So because of this, here citizens, they are running this campaign, that is Save the Aravalis. So now let us try to see extent of this Aravalis on the map so that you can understand why this campaign is running by the citizens. So here we can see this is Aravalis in Gujarat, some area of Gujarat, Rajasthan and Haryana, and even in this UP. Okay, so here in this Haryana, in Aravalli range, especially in the southern part, in 16 locations there is illegal mining is happening. So because of this illegal mining, so there will be some impact that is mainly seen on environment. So because of this here, citizens, they are running this campaign Save the Aravalis. So now let us try to see where exactly this Aravalli is located on the map. First of all, let us try to see some details. So actually these Aravallis, they stretch at a distance of about 720 kilometers from Himatnagar in Gujarat to Delhi, and it also passes through this Haryana and Rajasthan. Okay, so Aravallis, they mainly date back to millions of years ago. So even they formed first when we are comparing with that of Himalayas. So Himalayas, they are young folded mountains, and but these Aravallis, they are old folded mountains, and they are much stable than compared to that of these Himalayas. So why this Himalayas are formed? So when this Indo-Australian plate, which mainly come towards this Eurasian plate, and whenever there is a hitting of this Indo-Australian plate with this Eurasian plate, and whatever the sediments that are present in this Tethys Sea, that mainly elevated and they formed this enfolded mountains, that is Himalayas. So before even the formation of this Himalayas, so this Aravalli ranges, they had been formed, right? So these Aravalli ranges, they mainly date back to millions of years. So because of this, we can call them as old folded mountains. Okay, so why they are called as old folded mountains? So they formed millions of years ago, even before this Himalayas they formed. And if you're talking about this carbon dating technology, so by using this carbon dating technology, so we can understand that so there is illegal mining happening. For example, for this copper and even other metals, and it lasts from this 5th century BC. So from this 5th century BC onwards in this Aravallis, so there is mining that happening, especially for the copper and as well as other metals. So if you are focusing on some important characteristics of this Aravallis, so Aravallis, they are located in northwestern part of India. So I will be showing on the map, don't worry. And they are the old fold mountains in the world. And the elevation here is just 300 meters to 900 meters. And in this Aravalli ranges, so Guru Shikhar, it is the highest peak on Mount Abu, and here the height of this Guru Shikhar is 1722 meters, and they are mainly the folded mountains, and you have to remember that. And if you are talking about these mountains, they are divided into two main ranges, that is Sambar Shirohi range and as well as Sambar Khetri range. In this Khetri, it is very much famous for this copper mines in Rajasthan. So I hope you know that, right? And if you are talking about one more hidden limb of this Aravalli, that extends from Delhi to Haridwar, and it creates, so this hidden limb of this Aravalli, which mainly creates a divide between the drainage of rivers of river Ganga and as well as river Indus. So these are some important things, and now let us have a look over the map of this Aravallis. Okay, so where is this Aravallis exactly located, and I will be showing you. Okay, so this is the map we are going to see, and here in this location we can see this Aravalli range. Okay, so here we can see this Aravalli range. So if you see, this is the Aravalli range, so that will be moving like this, right? So this is the range of this this is the Aravalli range, and if you see, where is this Guru Shikhar Mount Guru Shikhar, which is highest peak of this Aravalli is located. So you have to know that location as well, so that will be very important. And here you can see this is the Guru Shikhar. I hope you can see this Guru Shikhar. Okay, so Guru Shikhar, it is a peak in this Arbuda mountains of Shirohi districts of Rajasthan. So in this Shirohi district of Rajasthan, we can see this Guru Shikhar mountain is present. Okay, Guru Shikhar mountain is present, and it is one of the highest point of this Aravalli range as well. So I hope you can see, right? And now let's go back and let us try to see what is the significance of this Aravalli. So which all the services which are provided by this Aravalli. So it is very important. So first one here is it checks desertification. As you know, here in the western part we have this Thar desert in Rajasthan. So here we have this Aravalli ranges like this. So here Aravalli ranges, they mainly acting as a barrier between this fertile plain in this east and as well as sandy desert in west. So here towards the east of this Aravalli range we have Indo-Gangetic plain. So here it is one of the fertile plains in India, and towards the west, okay, of this Aravalli range, so we have this third desert, that is sandy desert in the west. So it is acting as a barrier. So because of this, so this Aravalli range which mainly helped to check the spread of this third desert towards this eastwards. So this is the first important thing. And next one is, so this Aravalli range is also rich in biodiversity. So it provides habitat to 300 native plant species and 120 bird species. So it is also having rich biodiversity. And next one here is, it also having some impact on climate. So Aravalli ranges are mainly from, we can see they will be moving from north to south like this direction. So as you all know, whenever the monsoon winds are entering into India, so these monsoon winds are moving parallel to this Aravalli ranges. Okay, so because of this we have some impact on climate of northern India because of this Aravalli ranges. So during monsoons it also provides as a barrier. So because of this here monsoon winds, they will be moving towards eastwards towards the Shimla and as well as Nainital, and in that area we get rainfall. Okay, especially in the winter months. So here it is also protecting this fertile alluvial river valleys and even cold westerly winds from the Central Asia. So whenever the winds are coming from the Central Asia, so those winds will also be protected, and this area especially protected by this Aravallis. So here because of this it is having an important role in the climate as well. So this is about this topic, and now let us move on to next topic. So title says Prevention of Money Laundering Act verdict and erosion of constitutional buffers. So now let us try to talk about this topic in detail, and this topic is exclusively important from your polity and from your GS paper too, and this topic is important from your mains. So now let us try to see what is Supreme Court verdict on this Prevention of Money Laundering Act. So as you all know, there are different stages in this money laundering. First one is generating income, and we are going for placement. That means we are mainly whatever the money that we got from this illegal activities, we are placing that money into financial system, and we are going for the layering. That means transferring of money to hide the origin of the funds, and later on we are going for integration. That means we are returning that money to our country. So these are the four important steps, that is income, placement, layering, and as well as integration. So here you have to know these four steps of this money laundering process. So that will be very useful whenever you are writing your answer, and you can draw this type of charts or diagrams that will enhance your presentation, and that will helpful to score good marks in your GS. So what is the recent ruling? Okay, so if you see why this Prevention of Money Laundering Act is in news, so because of this Supreme Court of India judgment. So Supreme Court of India, whenever it is going for hearing of petitions regarding this Prevention of Money Laundering Act, so it upheld, it said yes, we need to have, okay, so it is a very good, okay, so it is mainly supporting this Prevention of Money Laundering Act of 2002. So because of this is in news. So especially the famous case, that is Vijay Mandan Lal Chowdhury versus others versus Union of India case. So in this case Supreme Court upheld some provisions of this Prevention of Money Laundering Act. So because of this is in news. And now let us try to see some details of this case, and let us try to understand what is this case about. There were number of petitions filed in Supreme Court, and this petitions, they are mainly challenging some amendments they were introduced in this Prevention of Money Laundering Act by the Finance Act in recent parliamentary session. So here petitions, they claimed that whenever these amendments are introduced, or whenever these amendments are passed, that will have some impact on the violation of personal liberty, and as well as the procedure of law and even constitutional mandate. So this is about the petitions and this is about the case. So what are the key provisions which are upheld by the Supreme Court? So there are two key provisions that you have to remember. So first one, it is regarding the power of ED, that is Enforcement Directorate power. So petitions, they argued that whenever this Enforcement Directorate, they are arresting the person without informing him on the charges, then that is mainly violating the due process of law, and even actually this due process of law which enshrined in our Article 21 of Indian Constitution. So here ED powers of arrest, it is mainly upheld by Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said that yes, ED have the blanket of powers of arrest, for example search of person, property, and as well seizure, etc. So here those are inbuilt safeguards within the act. So this is very good. So we need this provision. So this is the first thing which mainly said by Supreme Court regarding this Enforcement Directorate power of arrest. And second one is not providing ECIR to accused. So ECIR is nothing but Enforcement Case Information Report. So if you are filing any case, so you will be filing FIR, First Information Report. So in the same way, in this money laundering cases, we have this Enforcement Case Information Report. Here Supreme Court said that it was not mandatory for ED, that is Enforcement Directorate, to provide a copy of Enforcement Case Information Report. Okay, so without submitting this enforcement case report also, they can do some investigation. So these are the two important provisions which mainly upheld by our Supreme Court. So here this is the infographic that I directly took from this Hindu, but not from the today's paper, but I think 3 days ago. So here on ED power under Prevention of Money Laundering Act, so here the judgment of Supreme Court which mainly said some provisions which are valid. So first one here is offences of money laundering is a heinous offence and it can be treated as like offence of terrorism. And section 3 of this Prevention of Money Laundering Act defines about what is this money laundering, and that is the definition of this money laundering. And section 24 reverses the burden of proof. Okay, and next one is section 5 which mainly talks about attachment of property to stay. And even here Supreme Court judgment said that it is not at all mandatory to give this enforcement case information report. Okay, and next one here is if the statement was made to ED was considered admissible. Okay, so these are some important things which are mainly said by Supreme Court. And now let us try to see what are the concerns. So it is a main discussion of the topic, right? So if you are talking about concerns, so here the first important thing here is, so whatever the list of crimes that will deal with this Prevention of Money Laundering Act, so it is also having some overriding of similar crimes that are present in the other parts of the law. Okay, so it can also override even criminal procedure, okay, criminal code of procedure, that is CRPC as well. So it is one of cause of concern. And now the burden of proof is on the accused. So here under Indian conditions, so process of proving innocence itself is a punishment. So it is one of the important cause of concern. And next one here is international treaties, they often use it to override domestic safeguards. For example, in India's global commitment under this Vienna Convention, so this Vienna Convention which is mainly focusing on how to prevent this money laundering, and it is a global step which is mainly taken to control this prevention of money laundering, right? So India restricted civil liberties and as well as value of dissent according to this Vienna Convention. And next one here is the punishment under this Prevention of Money Laundering Act, potentially they will be excessively punitive and it is also disproportionate to the crime. Okay, so it is also one cause of concern. And if you are talking about conviction rate under this Prevention of Money Laundering Act, so here conviction rate is very low and it is less than even 0.5%. So this is also one cause of concern. So this is about in detail regarding this topic. And now let us move forward and let us try to see next topic. The title says the need for a distinction between blasphemy and hate speech. So you have to know what is this hate speech and what are the important law which is present in India deals with this hate speech, and you have to know what is this blasphemy law, etc. So we are going to discuss this topic in detail, and first let us try to see why it is in news. So recently Mohammed Zubair of Alt News, he was arrested for tweeting a still picture from a movie. Okay, and he said and there is some religious context regarding that picture. Okay, and one more case here, it is regarding this Nupur Sharma. So she belongs to this BJP party and she has been absconding with no coercive action taken against her for her inflammatory remarks on this prime time TV show. So in one TV show here, Nupur Sharma, she gave some statement regarding this Islam. So that also led to the murder, especially in Rajasthan. One tailor had been killed, right? So here, because of this, so we need to know what is the exact difference between this blasphemy and as well as hate speech, and what are the provisions which are present regarding this blasphemy and as well as hate speech. So if you see what is this hate speech, so if you are talking about the definition of this hate speech, any kind of communication either in speech or writing or behavior that attacks or uses derogatory or discriminatory language with reference to a person, or you can also talk about the group of people on basis of religion, ethnicity, nationality, race, color, descent, gender, or any other identity factors that comes under this hate speech. So hate speech means if you are going for any mode of communication, for example through speech or writing or any behavior or attacks or we are using some derogatory or discriminatory language, so that will come under this hate speech. So whenever we are doing any communication, so whenever we are taking some reference with the religion, ethnicity, nationality, race, color, descent, gender, and if you are doing any discrimination, that will come under this hate speech. Okay, so actually this hate speech, it is an act of using threatening words or signs. So in this hate speech, we are using some threatening words or signs, okay, with the hearing or sight of a person and intention of creating any fear. So that will come to this hate speech, and it's one of the biggest challenge that we are facing in the country, especially to maintain the law and order and even to maintain the democratic structure of the country. Okay, so this is about introduction regarding this hate speech. And what is the cause of concern? So recently the report released by this National Crimes Record Bureau, it said that there is increase in the number of this hate speech incidents, and the data says that there were 323 cases registered in this 2014, and but if you see in this 2020, so the number of cases registered were like 1804. So there is a drastical increasing of this number of cases against this hate speech. And if you are talking about what are the provisions that are present in India to deal with this hate speech, yes, there are number of laws which present, and they are mainly focusing like how to curb this hate speech. So sections like section 153A, section 295A, 298 of IPC, Indian Penal Code, they criminalizes the promotion of hostility between the different groups of people on the grounds of religion and language. On the grounds of religion and language, yes, here we have some sections of IPC, that is section 153A, section 295A and section 298, which mainly talks about this hate speech. And if you are talking about the section 125 of Representation of People's Act, which also says that during election campaigning also we should not promote feelings of hostility or hatred on the grounds of religion, caste, etc. So if there is any hate speech, then they can be punishable with imprisonment up to 3 years and even fine. So this is about this laws. Okay, they are mainly going to deal with this hate speech in India. And if you are talking about this blasphemy, it is nothing but whoever they are trying to deliberate, okay, and whoever having some malicious intention of outraging religious feelings of any class of citizens, okay, and whenever they are insulting or whenever they are trying to insult the religion or the religious beliefs of that class, okay, and they will be punished with the imprisonment and even with the fine. Okay, so blasphemy is regarding the religious, okay, whenever we are hurting the religious feelings, okay, whenever we are hurting the religious beliefs, okay, that mainly comes in this blasphemy. So if you are talking about this blasphemy law, so to deal with this blasphemy, yes, we have this blasphemy law. So here this blasphemy law which deals with the matter which mainly deals with the matter regarding the lack of respect towards God, religion, religious icon or something else which is considered as sacred. So if there's any discrimination which is happening regarding the religion, example God, religion and as well as religious icons, okay, for example you can talk about elephant and you can talk about tiger. So there are some religious icons, so they are mainly used by different gods. And if you're talking about rat is also used as a vehicle by this Lord Ganesha. So here whenever there is some discrimination or whenever you are showing disrespect towards these religious icons and also something which is considered as sacred, so that mainly deal with this blasphemy law. And if you are talking about this blasphemy, it is one of the world's most abused law. Okay, it is one of the world's most abused law, and that also led to suppressing the voices of communities, racialists, etc. And even many a time scientists also consider this blasphemy law, right? So here, as you all know, this blasphemy is often regarded as reasonable restriction. Okay, it's also regarded as reasonable restriction over freedom of speech and expression, which comes under Article 19, 1 subclass A of Indian Constitution, which mainly comes under fundamental rights in our Part 3 of Indian Constitution. And many a times it is also regarded as a hindrance in the development of scientific temper. The scientific temper which comes under our DPSP, Direct Principles of State Policy. So here it is mainly regarded as reasonable restriction under this freedom of speech and expression, and even so because of this blasphemy that will have some hindrance in the development of scientific temper among the people as well. And if you are talking about the law which deals with this blasphemy, so first and the foremost thing here is during the British colonial government period. So at that time they came up with this amendment in this IPC in 1860, and they added section 295(1), okay, in 1927, which mainly deals with this blasphemy. And this section, even after the partition of India, so this section which is present in IPC in this Pakistan and as well as in Bangladesh. So this is the importance of this blasphemy law, right? So this is about this topic. And now let us try to see next topic. Title says India woman to hold military exercise. So this topic is important from your international relations, which comes in a GS paper 2, and this topic is important from your prelims. So in prelims you can get a question like, so recently all Naja 4 exercise series news, it is between. So you'll be getting options like India, US, India, Japan, India, Korea, okay, India, Oman. So like that you can get a question, and you have to be careful whenever you're answering such type of questions. So now let us try to see why it is in news. So India and women, they will carry out 13-day military exercise. So beginning Monday, and they are mainly having some focus on counter terror cooperation. So they want to counter terrorism. So they want to come together and to cooperate in this how to fight against this terrorism. So if you are talking about details, so it is a 4th edition of India-Oman joint military exercise, and the name here is Al Naja 4. Okay, it is between Indian Army and as well as Royal Army of Oman. So it is between August 1st to August 13th. So in this exercise, about 60-member team of Royal Army of Oman, which may arrive at the site, and they will be represented by the troops. Indian Army will be represented by the troops from 18 mechanized infantry battalion. So if we're talking about what is the scope of this exercise, so they are mainly focusing on professional interaction between these two, that is India and Oman, and they are also focusing on mutual understanding of the drills and the procedure they can follow, and they will be also focusing on establishment of joint command and control structures, and they are focusing on especially elimination of terrorist threats. Okay, so these are some important focus areas of this exercise. And if you see the location of Oman, so here we can see Oman is there, and here we can see Gulf of Oman and Persian Gulf. Okay, so here we can see a small state, that is state of Bab el Mandab. Okay, so now let us try to see the map clearly, so that you will also having idea like, so what are the nearby places which are present in this Oman. Okay, so this is Oman. So now you can see on the screen. Okay, we are moving to the West Asia, and here you can see this is Oman. So in this area you can see most of this area which is having desert. Okay, so here if you see this Oman, just a second, and here I hope you can see this Muscat, right? So in 2019, so last exercise between this Oman and India which held in this Muscat here. And if you see the nearby water bodies, so here we have this Gulf of Oman here, right? And here you can see this is a Persian Gulf. So let me know which is the strait that is joining these two water bodies, that is Strait of Hormuz. It is not Strait of Bab el Mandab, so it is Strait of Hormuz. You have to know this strait, okay? It is Strait of Hormuz. And now if you see here, you have to see some important locations of this Oman as well. So let me know on which based this Oman's economy is dependent, okay? So this is Oman, and if you see the other nearby countries which are sharing boundary with this Oman, so here we have Yemen, okay, here we have Yemen which is sharing the boundary, and here we have Saudi Arabia, okay, and here we are also having UAE, okay, which is also sharing boundary. So now let us move forward and let us try to see the next topic. It is regarding productivity of this Rajya Sabha. So only 21% of productivity in Rajya Sabha. So this article is important from your GS paper 2 under international relations. So now let us try to see this topic in detail. So context says that Rajya Sabha has recorded only 21% of productivity since monsoon session commenced. Okay, since the monsoon session which commenced on July 18th, so here just 21% of productivity which is mainly seen. So productivity which mainly fell to 16% in the second week compared to that of 26% in the first week. So in the first week, so there is a productivity of 26%, and this productivity which fell to 16% in the second week. So this is the thing which mainly set by the Rajya Sabha chairman. So what might be the reasons? So the first reason I can say here is frequent adjournments. Okay, and there is a tussle which is happening between the members of this Rajya Sabha, between the members. Okay, so because of this, so that led to frequent adjournments, that led to decreasing of productivity, and also we can see there is no proper conservations, proper debates on happening. Okay, so because of all these things, we can see there is decreasing of productivity, and even there are 23 members of parliament, they had been suspended. So this is also one important reason that led to protest. Okay, so these are some important reasons behind the decreasing of productivity of Rajya Sabha. And now let us try to say next topic. It is regarding debris from Chinese rocket falls to earth. So this article is very important, and this article is important from your GS paper 3 under science and technology. So now let us try to see this topic in detail. So if you see context, you can see a Chinese booster rocket made an uncontrolled return to earth on Saturday. So China, they mainly launched the rocket, and whenever this rocket which had been launched, so it is mainly doing some orbits, and finally it returned onto the earth, and finally it fall in the Indian Ocean. So we are very much safe now, right? So here context says that a Chinese booster rocket which made uncontrolled return to earth on Saturday, and this is the thing which mainly said by US officials, not by China actually. Okay, so actually this information which is not at all given by the China first, but it is given by the US officials. So US officials mainly said that whenever there is no sharing of information, that will have some potential hazardous impact on the humankind. So if you see the details, it mainly says that US Space Command, they said that, so here People Republic of China, that is a Long March 5B, so it is a rocket which may be launched. So it re-entered over the Indian Ocean approximately at 10:45 am, and the debris from this uncontrolled Chinese Long March upper stage crashes down back to the earth. And I also included one video so that you can have a look like so how this rocket had been re-entered the earth. So how, so it is about the footage of Long March 5B debris falling. So in this footage you can see so how this had been fallen, and even you can see the location where exactly it had been fallen. So here you can see the exact location of this debris falling. And here you can see now, right? So this is about the falling of this Long March B rocket parts on the earth. So whenever it is entering into the earth, so as you all know, so whenever any object from the space that is entering into atmosphere, so because of friction they will be burnt. So most of this parts have been burnt, but finally they entered into the southwestern Philippines, and they mainly fall in the Sulu Sea. So this is about this video, and I'm also attaching this video here so that you can have a look after that. So this is about the rocket body has been in the elliptical orbit around the earth, and it made uncontrolled return to the earth. So this is about the image. And now let us try to move forward. And in a statement which mainly posted on its official website or official WeChat profile, here China said that Chinese Manned Space Agency, later they gave some details regarding this Long March 5B rocket return to Earth, and they said that the impact which is mainly seen in the Sulu Sea, and it is about 57 kilometers from the east coast of Philippines, Palawan Island. So what if this remnants which mainly fall on this island, so how much loss that we can see? So that is the angle that we have to think about. And most of the devices that used in this Long March 5B rocket, they had been destroyed because of the burning in the atmosphere. And Malaysian Space Agency also said that it detected rocket debris burning upon the re-entry before falling into the Sulu Sea. Okay, that is present in this northeastern side of this Borneo island. Okay, so NASA administrator, he mainly criticized the Beijing that, so yes, whenever there's any failure, so it need to provide the details. Okay, so that will be very important, and because of not revealing the information by these Chinese officials, it is like irresponsible and as well as risky thing. So what is the need now? So all space faring nations, they need to follow established best practices, and they need to share information in advance even before the launching of rocket and potential impacts. Okay, so doing this, it is a very much important, because we need to go for responsible use of the space, and even we need to focus on the safety and security of this mankind as well. So this is about this topic, and these are some important articles that appeared in this Today Hindu newspaper. And now I want to make a small announcement. We in Rathod's ISView came up with this mains answer writing practice course of 1 year, and today we are going to start this course. Okay, so at 10 o'clock you will be getting question from this mains answer writing course in our website. So one thing I can say here is, so this is one of the best course that you ever see, and we are providing the weekly targets, and based on that target, daily one question will be posted on our website. You have to start your stopwatch and you have to write answer, and after once you wrote the answer, you have to send that answer in PDF format to our mail ID, so that there will be evaluation of your answer, and we provide a model answer as well. And apart from that, we will be giving you detailed feedback so that you can work on that feedback and you can improve. So this is the program, how this goes. Okay, so first we will be giving you 1 year schedule, that is 52 weeks of plan, and you're going to prepare on that schedule. So in that schedule, you will be giving not more than 4 to 5 chapters in a week, so that you can easily prepare on that. So even if you are a beginner, so you can prepare on that topics, and daily one question will be given from the important topics in that syllabus, and you have to start stopwatch and you have to write answer, and whenever you're writing answer, at last you have to also add so how much time you have took to write that so and so answer, and you have to send PDF to our mail ID, so that there will be evaluation of your answer. And okay, so that evaluated answer again we will be sent back to your email ID, so that you can check the feedback and you can improve on that. So apart from this, one key highlight of this course here is, so there will be live webinars on every Sunday at 7 o'clock, especially for the students who join this course. There we are going to discuss like how to write your introduction. So in how many ways you can write the introduction. So we will be giving you some value additions like graphs, like maps, and also some tables, flowcharts, T diagrams, schematics, so that you can use directly, so that you can get good score in your GS. So 100% I can assure you that if you join this course, within 2 to 3 months of time, you can see a massive change in your answer writing, and you can excel this answer writing skills for sure. Okay, so try to join this course, and the registrations are going on. So here this course, it is the admissions will be open just for 7 days. Okay, so by this week the admissions will be closed. So if you want to join, so please try to join fast. Okay, so this is about this course, and now let us try to see our today's Hindu newspaper PDF. So this is our today's Hindu, and date is August 1st, and this is Delhi edition. So the first topic is regarding money laundering case. I discussed this topic, and if you move forward here, you can see Spectrum Bits crosses 1.5 lakh crore mark on the 6th day. So it is about 5G auction. So you have to know about what is the difference between 3G, 4G and 5G. So that is very important. And next one here is, if you are preparing for state public service examination, so there is one article which is important, that is Arora is New Delhi Police Commissioner. So you have to remember that. And this one here, it is regarding love of Aravalis. I discussed this topic. And if you move forward, there is nothing much important in this page number 3. Okay, but here you can see one infographic that is regarding World Breastfeeding Week, that is from 1st August to 7th August. So here, especially the moms, they need to breastfeed their children because there are some advantages. Especially we need to go for breastfeeding for at least 6 months, and after completion of this 6 months we can go for giving of some complementary foods along with the breast milk. For example, you can get Cerelac, okay, so some foods that you can get, okay, so that will have some good nourishment for your baby. And each one here is, there will be some benefits of breastfeeding for both the child and as well as for the mother. So for infant, so through this mother milk, so it will provide complete food for the baby for at least 6 months. And after that, here breastfeeding also strengthens the child's immune system and also provides a lifelong health benefits for the child. And for mother also, it will have some advantages, like, so breastfeeding will increase the emotional bond between the mother and baby and also decrease the risk of breast and as well as ovarian cancer. Okay, so these are some important things that you have to know regarding this breastfeeding. And if you move forward, there is nothing much important in this page number 4, and you can leave this page number 5. And its editorial, I discussed about this PMLA, Prevention of Money Laundering Act verdict. And there is one article regarding this WTO demand is risk fraud, that is regarding India's wheat waiver. So already we discussed this topic number of times, and you can easily go through this topic now. And there is one article regarding this bringing Eurasia closer. So it is talking about international north-south transport corridor. So actually time didn't permit me to take this topic today. So in the tomorrow's lecture, I am going to talk about this international north-south transport corridor because it is a very important topic. And if you move towards the next paper, in this text and context, I discussed about this blasphemy and hate speech. And in this text and context, you can also see one more article is important, that is hybrid electric vehicles. So what is hybrid electric vehicles? So these hybrid electric vehicles, they mainly use a petrol diesel engine along with this electric motors as well. Okay, so you have to know about what is hybrid electric vehicle and what are the advantages. Okay, and you have to know about what are the challenges. So please refer this part and even this part in this article. So this is enough. And if you move forward, you can see there is one article that is Build India of Freedom Fighter Dream, says Modi. So this article is also very important. And I discussed about this India Oman. They are going to hold this military exercise from August 1st to August 13th. And next one is regarding Hindustan Aeronautic Limited. It is going to supply 12 light utility helicopters to armed forces. Okay, so here you have to know about this Apache attack helicopters and what are the specialities of that helicopter. And next one here is Prevention of Money Laundering Act verdict, a hurdle for under-trials. So recently here in yesterday's lecture we studied that yes, Prime Minister said that we have to resolve this issue of under-trials, and now this article says that because of this Prevention of Money Laundering Act verdict, so it is mainly becoming as one important hurdle for this under-trials. Okay, and if you move forward, it is talking about only 21% of productivity that is seen in this Rajya Sabha. So I discussed this topic. And if you move forward, it is talking about CoWIN platform. So CoWIN to grid universal immunization. So already number of times we discussed about this CoWIN platform, and you have to do the research and you have to do the revision. Okay, so this CoWIN platform, it is a nationwide COVID-19 vaccination program. So here you can book here and you can get the dates when you have to go for vaccination, which area. Okay, so this is about this CoWIN platform. And if you move forward, here you can see India's aviation sector is absolutely safe, all rules being followed. So this is the thing which mainly said by this DGCA, because there are number of accidents are happening, especially in the spice jet. So because of this, here DGCA, which mainly gave some rules and regulations to be followed by the spice jet. Okay, so here this DGCA says that yes, now Indian aviation sector is absolutely safe. And if you move forward in this world's page, you can see the article regarding this Long March 5B rocket re-enter into Earth. I discussed this topic, and these are some important articles that appear in our today's Hindu newspaper. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. So if you are new to this Rathod's IAS Academy channel, subscribe to this Rathod's IAS Academy and hit the bell icon so that you can get the notifications regularly whenever we are posting the video. And apart from that, So if you really like this video, so you can share this video to your friends, and that will be also helpful for your friends. And one more thing here is you can join the Telegram channel to get the PDF of this class. So by this I'm concluding. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Thank you so much.